You know, with a potential World War III, as we keep hearing, looming around the corner. Um, it's funny. I feel like World War III has been looming around the corner my whole life. Like it was like that with the, wars in the Middle East. Um, after the Twin Tower bombings, I mean that was sort of what we thought was going to become World War III. Then it didn't seem to take though, and it's still a horrific war when you think about it. So much senseless violence. I mean, that's what war is. War is senseless violence, senseless killing. It has really no place in our world. There's no real point to it. I mean, sure, people could argue in favor of war if they like, but I mean, no argument can give actually makes any real sense, and there's no real justification of why we should be killing each other. You know, always going to first preach peace. Um, you know, to teach love, to teach kindness, to teach not only self care but care for others. That idea, like I feel like it's something that we've lost over time, or as we grow into adulthood, it seems to be something that we lose. We're taught as kids to be kind to others, to share, and to, um, you know, not to hit other children. I was always told as a kid, don't hit people. You don't hit people. You don't do that. You be nice. You say sorry. Those principles seem to be lost in adulthood. We see all these adults actively seeking to attack other people, other countries. We've got Biden at the moment who seems to be really pushing for war in the Middle East, war in Russia. Trying to sort of stuck on the Middle East and stuff still. Right, but we got this looming war between. I mean, it's an ongoing conflict, isn't it, between Russia and the Ukraine? But what we're seeing now is US really are sort of stepping it up, taking weapons and putting them on basically the Ukrainian-Russian border, which obviously is only going to escalate conflict there. Um, and the US are good at that. They're good at going in and trying to train other people's soldiers to start. It seems to me to start wars um, for their own personal profits. I mean, you have Raytheon Technologies, companies like that stand to gain immense, like crazy profits from war. They always will, they always have. And, we look into the investors of these, and I think is it State Street. Let's have a look. Hopefully this keeps filming. Yep, it does. While I'm looking. Is it State Street Global? Yeah, State Street Global, um, BlackRock Vanguard, and there's the obvious others, who are, as I mean, if you're not aware, these guys are major investors in pretty much every single major company in the world. Um, Especially, we look at people like we look at the BlackRock Vanguard connection, um, and that runs pretty deep. It's pretty interesting stuff if you want to get into it. But they're major investors in Raytheon, um, so major investors in war, and they are companies that profit from war, and therefore they profit on death and destruction. These companies, we can't say that they're anything other than evil corporations. When it boils down, I mean, you don't like why I don't see the point in investing in war other than to make profit off destruction and the pain of others. And to me, that is outright an evil act, and I condemn it. Um, so then I therefore condemn these companies, because we find these same companies are in major investors in Facebook, in Microsoft, in Apple. They're major investors and shareholders of companies like Pfizer and the pharmaceutical industry. They're everywhere you look. I mean, everywhere you go, everywhere you look, it's Coca Cola, it's McDonald's. It doesn't matter where it is. everywhere you look, we'll see these names pop up. We're going to see Goldman Sachs. We're going to see State Street Global. We're going to see BlackRock and Vanguard and the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and um, Murdoch. We keep seeing all these same names. They pop up and they're everywhere. And then if you really think about it, these are the owners of the world. These are the rulers of the the rulers and real players in this whole globalist agenda. And yeah, so we're seeing that happen. We're seeing potential World War III, and these are the people that stand to profit. So it stands to reason that maybe these are the people that are really the ones pushing for war, because they're likely the ones that are funding campaigns and stuff like that for presidential campaigns, and so they're right involved with politics. People who invest in these companies will obviously also stand to profit. So, you can do your own digging on that sort of stuff. It takes a lot of brain power to be bothered to look into all the individual investors. That's not my game. That's not what I do. Um, what I do essentially is just voice my opinions and my views and the way that I see things um, as they happen in the world, as they present themselves to me. But my main focus is always going to be on how we can do better, and the things that maybe we can do to change things. My main message is always the same in every single video. It's to, call out and question authority. Do not comply with authority unquestioningly. You have to really, you know, dig deep, question them, you know, ask all the hard hitting questions. Don't accept anything at face value, and think for yourselves. That's my main teaching, is to think for yourself, focus on self transformation and how you can do better in your own life. I haven't really gotten deep into you know the methodology behind meditation and the methods behind actual self improvement, self transformation, because you know I just haven't sat down and put my material together for that. First, I wanted to lay down some of the concepts of freedom, and let you know that we can have a free world. Get you thinking about love and the beauty of the divine and the beauty in the world, and get you into that mindset of thinking beautiful thoughts and thinking loving thoughts. Um, that's my bag. That's what I want to do. As much as I also want to focus some of my attention on, you know, getting us to keep, encouraging you, people who may watch. It's unlikely. I don't get people. People aren't subscribed to my channel. I'm a nobody. But you stumble across any of this stuff, you know, I want you to get something out of it. And the main thing I want you to get out of it is sort of encourage you just to speak your mind about this sort of stuff. If you feel there is injustice in the world and you're not okay with it, well then get on here, get on these platforms where you can write about it, talk about it, film it, improve in your own life where you can. Um, but yeah, my main message is to try and teach it yourself, even if you don't know that much. Like me, I mean, I'm limited in what I know and what I'm able to um, translate into these videos and what I'm able to present to you and give to people who watch. Um, but the little bits I can, hopefully, maybe that sparks interest for someone in another area. They'll go look into that. Like I always say, look up Mark Passio, look up David Icke, get into Russell Brand's videos, listen to Joe Rogan and some of his interviews. you know, Look at these people and then look at the people that they talk to. You got Freeman Fly and people like that as well. Um, that's more into the occult side of things. But if Higher Side Chats, another one. I think some stuff's still on YouTube, but for the main, you can hit up Spotify and you get the hour long. Because the Higher Side Chats has got some great material. And yeah, so shout out to all those people. And that's what I want you to do is, do your research, listen to these people, take those nuggets of wisdom and those little seeds of information to then go do your own research and start learning things, and then start applying the principles taught as well in your own life. I mean, that's what meditation and spirituality is all about, applying the principles. And I think like what we all should be trying to teach, if we're going to teach spiritual principles, is teach a practical occultism, or teach a practical spirituality, and try and move towards that spirituality in practice. So make it an occult science or a spiritual science. I would say to people listening now, get into people like Rudolf Steiner, um, Julius Evola, you know, what's his name? Bloody hell. William Walker Atkinson. Um, and if you want to get into more of the Hermetic Dawn stuff, we can get into like Dion Fortune and Israel Regardie, and look at some of Crowley's stuff, and look at McGregor Mathers and William Wynne Westcott, William G. Gray, um, these sorts of figures as well, because they have some great material on self transformation, on Western magic, those sorts of topics in Kabbalah as well. If you're interested in that, go down that path. But yeah, in the main, look into some of these people, especially Mark Passio, because if you really pay attention to his material and apply what he's saying in your own life, I mean, you can have amazing freedom and liberty, because you can understand truly what freedom is, and the method by which you can achieve it. And like I repeat what he says, because I think repeating his teaching to others to then pass on to, again, others and others and others. And this teaching, this spiritual knowing, this de-occultation of what's happening in the world, it should be expansive. So I will repeat again, the law of freedom. As morality increases, freedom increases. Therefore, the more moral we are, the more we commit to right action and right discrimination between our actions, our thoughts, our words, and deeds, the more freedom we will have, the closer to liberty we will get. And if we're close to liberty, we're close to truly a just society. But as morality declines, so does freedom decline. And therefore, the more immoral we are, the more we live in wrong action, the less freedom we'll have, the more enslaved we'll become, and we will be weighed down by our shackles, and we will live in a miserable world. So we can either create our own Eden or create our own hell. It is up to us. Um, so yeah, I probably trailed off there a little bit. Not really sure what even to call this video or how to describe it, but the basics is just like, you know, I hope that people can sort of take these sorts of concepts, learn more about themselves by doing their research, and then apply them. So the principles that you love and uphold, live them. Anyway, this is just another short video. Um, take care, guys. Got anything you want to say? Drop it in the comments. Uh, I don't do the whole. I don't really care if people subscribe or watch. So I hope people watch, and if they do watch, they get something out of it. Much love and peace to you. Take care.